We gave them an opening and they took it. That's Bruce Cassidy on the Rangers' domination in the second period. And luckily, VGK and Carter Hart weathered the storm on Sunday, came back to win in overtime 3-2. More ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Tony Dasco and Chris Gawlik from Las Vegas. Welcome to Locked On Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 podcast network on the planet. I am a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. And Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and also the host of the Hockey News Collectibles Show. Now, coming up ahead on today's show, we'll also recap Friday night's VGK Devils game and Mark Stone's impact since coming back from injury. We are brought to you today by Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets. Download the Game Time app today. And a reminder that you can now catch us each and every day on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Tune in 1 o'clock daily, Monday through Friday. SSSEN is the spot, and that is on YouTube TV or on Cox Cable Channel 77. So, Chris, the Golden Knights were in Gotham last night, a.k.a. New York City, after taking a 1-0 lead through the first period on the former Ranger Brett Howden's goal. VGK saw New York do an about face, 17 shots in the second period, and luckily, Carter Hart in his second game was on his game, and the Golden Knights did weather that storm, as we mentioned in the open. Rangers scoring twice only to take a 2-1 lead, but late in the third period, it was Tomas Hertl scoring his 13th goal of the season, and Jack Eichel completes the comeback with his 12th goal, and he does it just 8 seconds to go in overtime on an unbelievable play that was by design on the bank shot pass by Shea Theodore.
We've seen this in overtime before, like this just Hail Mary pass that just goes deep in the forward sprints. And great play by the Golden Knights. Great finish by Jack. Better pass by Theodore. And just, yeah, I mean, it's a fun way to watch a hockey game. And you mentioned that second period, 11-3 high danger chances in favor of the New York Rangers. I don't know if I recall the Golden Knights giving up double-digit high danger chances, let alone an eight high danger chance spread ever since I've been watching this. So, yeah, the wheels certainly fell off the wagon a little bit there in the second period. But again, Carter Hart, his compete level, his ability just to stay calm. We saw this in the game against the Blackhawks, and here we go again against the Rangers. So we might have something here in the VGK Nets.
So Brett Howden won the faceoff. That was the big play that started that entire final winning goal, I should say, as he wins the faceoff, gets it to Theodore. Theodore banks it off the wall. Jack Eichel in stride for the breakaway. You could not have designed that any better.
In other news, Brett Howden took a late faceoff with the game on the line. Although he was 70, wow, he was 11-4 in the circle. Okay, I retract anything negative I said about Brett Howden and faceoffs right there. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if that's you would think that's a situation where Hertl takes that face-off when you got that set play, but I wonder, and I didn't catch the post-game presser, but I wonder if Cassidy did get asked why Howden with 14 seconds left in the game to win that face-off. But obviously, when you look at the stats, that answers the question itself. And Jack Eichel looks like he was 5 for 10, 33% in the circle.
5 for 10 is 50%.
No, 5 and 10. 5 and 10.
Oh, 5 and 10. Eichel talking about being disappointed with his play after that hot start, and he's finally found his stride again, up to 36 points, a goal, and an assist on Sunday. And he's come back to have 4 multi-point games in his last 8 games. And that was absolutely a filthy move on the former CBJ great, Jonathan Quick.
It's nice to see Eichel putting a breakaway away, I guess, if that makes sense to say it like that, because we've joked in VGK land about missed breakaway opportunities. Not as bad this year, maybe as years past, but the Golden Knights have certainly had their struggles on the breakaway. And as far as stopping the breakaway, too, not necessarily Carter Hart, but some of the other goalies have had their issues with that. So, yeah, I mean, a lot to like about the game. The fact that they were able to keep the game in check in what could have been an absolute terrible. It was a terrible second period, but it could have been a lot worse. And again, you go back to Carter Hart, and Carter Hart, 2 games, very small sample size. But what gets me about watching Carter Hart, I was watching him a lot in the Blackhawks game. We were there last week, and then you saw him a lot during the commercial breaks. His mental game, he is locked in. He is almost sitting in like this pretzel yoga position during the intermissions with his head down, just intermissions, but during the stoppages with his head down, just doing whatever he needs to do to keep his head in the right place, to keep his focus. And again, 2 games, small sample size, a lot of questions obviously in that VGK net. When and if and when Adin Hill comes back in the next few weeks, and we're gonna have plenty of content, Tony.
From the New York Post, Mike Sullivan visibly unhappy, though, with the coincidental roughing minors called on Ranger defenseman Will Borgen and Brett Howden with under 2 minutes to play in the third, with the Rangers nursing a 2-1 lead on goals. That enabled the Golden Knights to skate 5-on-4 rather than 6-on-5 after they pulled goalie Carter Hart in the closing minute of regulation, giving them more room to operate. And Sullivan said, I think the coincidental minors had a huge implication. There's a big difference between 6-on-5 and 5-on-4 when you're trying to defend it, and it had a huge implication. Thoughts?
I mean, he's not wrong about the 5-on-4 being better than 6-on-5. I'm actually trying to watch. So I saw the goal happen and I saw the call get made. I didn't see the specifics behind it, although they're showing on the New York Post. Looks like Brett Howden is putting someone into the Rangers bench. So I didn't see what led up to it and why the coincidental was called. But in the same breath, I mean, the Rangers had their chance to put the Golden Knights away and didn't. So maybe that's where the focus should be, instead of sweating the officials with 2 minutes left in the game, especially when your team has 3 home wins in the most famous arena in North America, or the planet.
On the planet, the world's most famous arena. John Condon.
Yeah, too bad your team sucks there, though.
Of course. And it sounded very VGK-like a VGK broadcast, where Sullivan said he was not pleased about an uncalled trip of Ranger defenseman Matthew Robertson in overtime. The trip in overtime, you guys can be the judge. That's what he said.
So, no, I saw that, and I saw the New York bench flip out.
They were flipping out, yeah.
But, so, listen, when it comes to officiating, it's not about missed calls or the right calls. It's about the standard. It's about consistency throughout the game. And if you go, 30, 35, 40 seconds after that happened, Jack Eichel got wiped out going to the net. And Jack Eichel doesn't react a lot when he thinks there should be a penalty. You saw Jack Eichel waving his hands at the ref like, how is this not called?
I saw that,
circumstance. Yeah. So, sure, you want to be upset about the Matthew Robertson situation? Fine, no problem whatsoever. But the standard, Jack Eichel had a very similar circumstance, maybe even worse, as that hand happened, closer to the net and a potential scoring opportunity. So the standard was met there. Whether the standard is right or wrong, who cares? You have consistency on both sides there.
That was a toned down silly for Jack Eichel. I got to tell you,
it was Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel.
He was doing that. Yes,
he's doing the Manziel,
the money, like that thing. But then he's usually like this, and then he just skates like on one skate or whatever.
He was saving the glory for Shea Theodore, who deserved a lot more of it, and Brett Howden, the unsung hero of the play.
Okay, that's fair. It's Marner Monday. He had an apple last night on the Brett Howden goal, 36 seconds into the game. Now up to 22 assists. And for his second game in a row, Riley Smith filled in for Colton Sissons as the starting center on the fourth line. Riley Smith had his own line. Friday night fans were asking if Smith had ever played center before. I said, I don't recall that. Did you? No, right? This is the first time?
Not as a VGK. I don't know if it's in his history or not. Like sometimes players are listed, like Jonathan Marchessault was always listed as a center for the longest time, and he obviously had never played center with VGK. So listen, this is where a player like Riley Smith, he can be a Swiss Army knife, right? If he's got to go to the top line, he'll do it. If he's got to go on the fourth line center, he'll find a way to be effective.
Coming up next, Mark Stone was miffed at the 50-minute bus trip from Midtown Manhattan to Newark. It was a daily occurrence at one point for me. The Golden Knights played like they were mad about something. We recap VGK Devils coming up next on Locked On Golden Knights.
Go with this.
The World Cup, it's coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams for the first time ever, it's going to be absolutely massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets, it's usually the hardest part. That's why Game Time and the Game Time app comes in clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment that they hit the app. And it puts the power back into your hands, and it makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. You just pull up the app. They've got the layout. It's so simple. You scroll through matchups, and you compare seat views. Pretty simple, if you ask me. You pick a game, you tap a section, and you have tickets locked in within minutes. No confusion, no hunting for the fine print and high prices. It's definitely something you need to check out. So take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets. And every match, concert, or event, you can do so at Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. That's LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, Game Time. Gawlik, they added an extra word in there.
I was going to say something, but I don't know if we're supposed to talk about the reads afterwards or not, but the extra word threw me off. I'm like, okay, are you done now?
Yeah. I threw an extra word in there.
Got a budget for that time next time, I guess.
We appreciate, I get paid by the word. We appreciate everyone tuning in right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Thanks so much for tuning in. And of course, don't forget that you can catch us daily on SSSEN. And what is that hat that Gawlik is wearing today? I can't read. Speaking about the fine print, what in the world is that?
So this is the VGK member exclusive hat that was sent. We got our member.
Do you have hat head, or can you hold it up to the camera so we can see what it says? No.
Maybe I have a little more shine than normal.
We don't want to see your head.
I think I'm saying
we want to see what that says.
VGK member exclusive. There you go.
Okay.
And then we got the logo on the side there. And
all right,
for the backwards ticket members,
no, the backwards hat.
No, it's always a nice little thing that the season ticket members get. Although no scarf this year, no scarf. The scarf that I have that was given out, I think, in the preseason or something like that, or first regular season game. But no scarf. Not happy about that. But otherwise, we got that and a pretty cool hoodie and a license plate frame that will not be going on the Tesla.
It will not be going because why? Because those are the cars that cut me off, especially. Friday night at the Rock in Newark, New Jersey, hometown of, you got it, Akira Schmid, stopping all 24 shots he faced as he blanks his former team, the Devils, in a VGK 3-0 win in New Jersey. That Devils team's got a lot of issues. They really don't have anything going. And the Devils, they thought that they were going to get propelled by an early Timo Meier shot as he rips it from inside the blue line, and the tip by Nico Hischier, but they were offside. That goal taken off of the board via a replay challenge. So Bruce Cassidy's back on track with his challenges. And then later on in the period, Pavel Dorofeev tips in a shot, but it was determined his stick was up too high for the deflection. So nothing. And then Shea Theater would get the Golden Knights on the board with a shot from the right side of the net. And that was just with 13 seconds to go in the opening period. And these are goals that are the trademark of the Golden Knights, right? The late goal in regulation by Tomas Hertl. The late goal in overtime, right, on this road trip by Jack Eichel. And then, of course, winning a period by getting a goal by Shea Theodore with just 13 seconds remaining in that first period of play in New Jersey.
Pavel Dorofeev has a bad poker face. He tried to over-celebrate the goal to, maybe take the attention away from where his stick was.
He took part of Eichel's celly. He stole part of Eichel's celly.
And then on the bench, you can just see that, I guess, poop grin. We'll say it like that because you can't really say the other word.
No.
He's kind of like, yeah, okay, that's a little high stick there, but so be it. I mean, what are you going to do? So interesting note about this game: high danger chances for. Never mind, all the way around here. Point being is the Golden Knights crushed the Devils in high danger chances for. 0 high danger chances for the Devils. And this is all on naturalstattrick.com, by the way, if you're looking for these stats. It was in favor 15-9 for the Golden Knights, but the Golden Knights came out in the first period and did not allow a single high danger chance for. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on. And that Shea Theodore goal, I mean, that's a great shot. It's you almost wonder if he's shooting for a rebound in a situation like that, but he found, I mean, it didn't look like a good goal on Markstrom by any means, but he found just a soft spot. He hit his spot, and one of two things is happening there when you put the puck low and away like that. You're going to get a rebound that's going to fall right into the slot, or you're going to get a goal right there. So credit Theodore for getting it done.
One of the Rangers issues, I just want to go back to that for just a moment. Boomer Esiason tweeting out yesterday. Of course, I follow Boomer Esiason, former Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, and a big Rangers fan. But they're doing what VGK did when they were going through doldrums in previous seasons. They're shooting like right into the crest. That's it. That's exactly what they're doing. That's a big issue. Over the weekend, Carter Hart, a scratch on Friday night. A lot of speculation as to why he was not in the lineup. But Bruce Cassidy said that Hart tweaked an injury in his first start against Chicago. One other note from the weekend, William Karlsson placed on LTIR. He's putting together on Instagram, folks, a ton of IKEA toys. And he's got a lot of honeydews around that house. But Puckpedia says that VGK now has $3.4 million in cap space with that move. Do they do something with that? That's a big question.
I mean, again, you have to keep in account how the LTIR rule works this year. And if Karlsson's going to miss, doesn't matter because you have to ice a playoff. In the playoffs, the roster has to be compliant.
Yeah.
So if Karlsson is done for the rest of the season in the playoffs, then okay, fine. There's something to talk about right there. But if there's a window for Karlsson to possibly return, then we'll see what happens. So Puckpedia says IR for LTIR or for Karlsson. I don't know if it hasn't been updated or not. Aiden Hill is LTIR right now, so we'll see how that whole thing shakes out right there. So yeah, I mean, again, it wouldn't be a VGK season if we're not talking about
cooking the books,
all these injuries, and
about cooking the books
like they did. Tony, stop it.
Cooking
can't be cooked with the new rules. But
if you're tossing your kid around, you can play hockey. I'm sorry.
I want you to go find a random with the parents' permission, number one, but go find a 4-year-old at the park, Tony, and ask if you can gently throw the kid up in the air a couple of times, and then go play an NHL game and tell me what you think the difference is. But with William Karlsson, it's not obvious. I don't know 100%, but it's likely his groin, likely the same issue he's been having for the last 3 years now. And, is surgery possibly in order? Is this something that they can find a way to correct? I don't know. But this is certainly going to impact VGK because you would think a player like William Karlsson is unreplaceable in the sense that when he is on his game, he is by far one of the top 3 or 4 or 2 defensive centermen in the National Hockey League. And you saw what he's done against players like McDavid in a 6-game series. So we'll see. How
does Riley Smith rate as a defensive centerman? That's a big question.
He's replacing William Karlsson, apparently. William Karlsson, who?
The Golden Knights on Friday night, they get an insurance goal on a power play. Marner, of course, it's Marner Monday, and Dorofeev assisting on Tomas Hertl's 12th goal there. And then later in the third, just 3 minutes away exactly, we saw the Ivan Barbashev goal on the late power play, 3-0, and Jack Eichel coming around 2 assists in that win. And it's going to be dangerous around here if if Jack Eichel really starts to find his groove the way he has been lately.
It's
sure.
nice real fast to see the Golden Knights take care of a team like New Jersey who's slumping big time. And
they lost the next night in Boston. They're horrible.
No, they are. But my point is that
they are
you saw them
lifeless.
play the Blackhawks, who are slumping pretty hard. They needed every second of that game to get the second point. The Sharks almost clawed back in, who are up and down, up and down. Rangers, who are abysmal at home. The Golden Knights, needed some extra time. So it'd be nice to see the Golden Knights blowing out more of these bottom dwellers, but in the same breath, 8 points, 4 games, can't get too negative.
Coming up next, Mark Stone's impact since coming back from injury. We'll talk about it ahead on Lockdown Golden Knights. Thank you for making Lockdown Golden Knights your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. That's right. And you already are living your team, and each and every day we come to you. Now you can take it up a level with ad-free. You can go ad-free. That's right. By joining the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Golden Knights with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and much, much more. It's all for just $5 a month or $50 per year. Go to LockedOnGoldenKnights.com, LockedOnGoldenKnightsSupercast.com, I should say, LockedOnGoldenKnightsSupercast.com, or you can check out the link in the show notes to learn more. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different, like a backdoor cover by the Raiders yesterday. But that's what makes betting live with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is the best when the game starts to shift, receiver gets hot, a quarterback spikes the ball on a meaningless drive at the end of the game, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. And you could bet the next touchdown scorers, the drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into each and every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, please, by all means, visit FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com, place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Gawlik reporting from Las Vegas. Did you see the end of the Raider game yesterday? They did the backdoor cover by kicking a field goal at the final gun. So, and the fans, it was all orange shirts there for the Broncos. And the fans were booing mercilessly at the end of that game. So you know that that they had money. A lot of them had money at 7 and a hook, and it landed on 7. But that's the way things go, right? Geno Smith got hurt, by the way, too. First it was his hand, and then a shoulder injury, and yeah, it was pretty tough there in that game. Mark Stone, back to the hockey, as they say. Mark Stone's made a huge impact for the Golden Knights since he came back from a wrist injury. Well, we thought it was his wrist, his leg, or whatever. He's like Geno Smith. And in his 12 games since returning, Chris, 5 multi-point games, 4 goals, 16 assists since his return. And on Sunday, Stone had that primary assist on the Tomas Hertl equalizer. And he did it by just that net front presence and hacking away at the puck.
137. If Mark Stone had played all 82 games this season, that is his current points pace. 137. The other interesting thing, 12 games played so far for Mark Stone in the 25-26 regular season. Mark Stone is on a 12-game point streak. Mark Stone has a point logged every single game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is people want to get on me about difference makers and stuff. Mark Stone's a difference maker right now by looking at these numbers and what he brings to the lineup. And it's not just the stats, it's the intensity, it's the accountability, it's the discussions on the bench, it's the discussions in the locker room during the game. This is your captain speaking. I mean, when Mark Stone is there, things are better for the Vegas Golden Knights. And if he can avoid another darn fluke injury, this could be a real special season for Mark.
And it is. It has become a special season. It's not in his 12 games since returning. It's in his 12 games period. He's scored goals. He scored points, I should say.
He has points all 12 games he's played this regular season.
Right. But he's had a huge impact since his return from injury is what I was getting at earlier.
Yes.
And a guy by the name of Brett Howden won the lottery. He definitely, I mean, could you imagine playing between, he's got his own line now because they're also identifying it as the Brett Howden line, but he's got a couple of other big major players alongside in Marner and Stone. This guy, he hit the lottery. He hit the lottery.
It's nice to see Brett Howden carrying Mark Stone and Brett Howden because I was really concerned about the futures of those two players. So you put Brett Howden between them, and Brett Howden finds a way to reignite careers apparently. But listen, Howden might be it feels like an award reserved for Braden McNabb every season, but Brett Howden might be going towards the unsung hero role award, if you will, for the Vegas Golden Knights in the 25-26 season, because he can be anywhere. And, we talked about, what's he got, a $3.5 million AAV or $3 million? It was just a bad deal for him to sign. Good deal for the Golden Knights, obviously. And it's fun to watch Howden's game evolve, and certainly having chemistry with a player like Mark Stone and finding a way to adapt with a player like Mitch Marner. Yeah, that's not going to hurt Brett Howden's career one bit.
Tomorrow, coming up on the show, we'll be talking about VGK versus the Islanders. We thank everyone for tuning in today. And please make sure that you subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights podcast so you get all the latest episodes. And also, did Locked On Golden Knights make your Spotify Wrapped? I did see one post there.
I've seen a few.
Okay, so you need to prove it on social media, and you will secure a free month, Chris, of our brand new Everydayers Club. So that is there. So just tag Locked On Podcast Network, that account on any social platform, and they will drop you a barcode. So please do that. Be one of the first to join the Everydayer Club to get your favorite show ad-free. For my man, Chris Gawlik, I am Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. Another 50-minute bus ride there on the island for VGK. Who knows? We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.